Thinking of a new vacation spot? Then French Polynesia, an overseas territory of France, is the place for you. With water surrounding every side of the island, there is no better place to relax and unwind than on the coast of French Polynesia's crystal clear waters. Welcome to paradise. French Polynesia is located halfway between the coast of California and Australia. With its 118 islands covering the southern part of the Pacific Ocean, the country occupies an area as large as Western Europe. The islands are divided into 5 archipelagos: the Tuamotu Islands, the Society Islands, the Marquesas Islands, Austral Islands, and lastly, the Gambier Islands. The Society, Marquesas, Austral, and Gambier groups are known for their high islands, which have volcanic peaks, fertile valleys, lush tropical forests, waterfalls, streams, and white sand beaches. The Tuamotu Islands consist of low islands, which are small sand and coral bars surrounding a lagoon dotted with shrubs and coconut palms. Papeete, the largest city in French Polynesia, is also its capital. With a diverse population including Polynesians, Chinese, and European people, Papeete acquires roughly 48% of French Polynesia's residents living in and around it. When traveling to French Polynesia, you are bound to see various amounts of wildlife. Most land species found in the country have been instituted to the island for over 3,000 years, since the country was first settled. The marine wildlife is very spectacular. Tourists often go diving in the ocean and come across the most beautiful corals. Some may even have the ability to swim with sharks. Specifically, Tahiti and its islands are known internationally for their beautiful tropical flowers. No matter what island you are on, French Polynesia will always intrigue a person's eyes. Along with the island's beautiful plant and wildlife, it has its very own history about how it came to be. The flag of French Polynesia was updated on November 23, 1984. It shows rowers aboard a catamaran on the water, representing the country's 5 main island groups. The red, white, and blue colors on the flag are the colors of the French flag, and the yellow represents the sun. French Polynesia was originally inhabited by Polynesians on Pacific Islands around the time of 2000 and 1000 BC, reaching Marquesas Islands in the 3rd century AD. Throughout the country's history, many explorers such as Ferdinand Magellan, Alvaro de Mendana, and many others had marked contact with the country's land. Mendana of Spain had named the Marquesas Islands after reaching them in 1595. During 1966, France began a series of nuclear tests at Marara Atoll. States in 1977 and 1984 had granted French Polynesia higher internal autonomy. The islands of French Polynesia had gained a reputation for being a tranquil tourist destination, whereas Papeete, the capital, was filled with riots in 1995 when France resumed nuclear testing. 1 year later, the president at that time, Gaston Flosse, had signed a treaty which declared the South Pacific a nuclear-free zone. Presidency in the country changes very frequently. For example, in September of 2004, President Gaston Flosse was replaced by Edouard Fritch after Flosse was forced to leave office due to corruption of power. Throughout the country, natives speak one of 2 languages. Some speak both: French and Tahitian. French is spoken widely on the island of Tahiti. It is the language of daily communication for the majority of people. Interestingly, a person's ability to speak French can affect their economic status. The Tahitian language was prohibited in schools for more than 20 years. It was later introduced in schools as a second language in the 1980s. Religion throughout the island varies. About 49% of the Polynesians are Protestant, most belonging to the Maui Protestant Church, also known as the Evangelical Church. 33% of the people are Roman Catholic. Many other religions make up the other 10% of the country's religion. It is often thought as rude if a person is greeting another person without giving them a kiss on the cheek, along with a hug or pat on the back. It is also very common to see people shaking hands. Also, it is seen as impolite to not shake every person's hand in a small gathering. Hand gestures and facial expressions are also added into conversations to add meaning, much like most cultures. Polynesians eat their main meal midday. Seafood, vegetables, rice, and French bread comprise a typical menu. Breakfast may include bread and a hot drink. Dinner, too, is comprised of a light meal. Families generally eat in the morning and evening meal together, with the father sitting at the head of the table and the mother seated at his side. Traditional Tahitian foods are eaten with fingers, while Chinese food is eaten with chopsticks. One unique tradition within the Polynesian culture is that a host may invite guests over and offer them a meal, and the guest is expected to accept the invitation. The host's family may either watch the guests eat or join along with the meal. French Polynesia's government has a head of state, President Francois Hollande, who is also the President of France. And they have a head of government, President Edouard Fritsch. In 2003, the country was reclassified as an overseas collectivity within the French Republic. In 2004, it was designated an overseas country. The country also has an assembly called the Assembly of French Polynesia. The locally elected 57-seat group chooses a president by majority vote to be the head of government. These members serve a 5-year term. French Polynesia's economy is strongly linked to tourism because a large number of the population works for the tourism industry. Agriculture is also very important to the country, since its agriculture provides goods for export. The pearl industry, for example, is the most important commodity. A major export of the country is mother of pearl, which is a large pearl export company. Due to the large increase in jobs in the tourism industry, people are able to have a decent standard of living. However, some outer islanders rely on things like fishing and farming to provide a decent living. The country's government provides a substantial amount of financial aid to those in need. When envisioning French Polynesia, people think of a country that is idealistically perfect. Little do they know that it is not. The country carries one of the deadliest diseases in human history, the Zika virus. Zika is a very prevalent disease, overwhelming the nation. Researchers had published a study in March of 2016, confirming brain malformations and neurological dysfunction in fetuses infected with the Zika virus in French Polynesia. Research shows that there were nearly 20,000 cases of Zika confirmed as of April 2014. Marine life is crucial to French Polynesia. The surrounding ocean is filled with millions of species. In April of 2016, a group of communities from the Austral Islands submitted a plan to the government to create a large marine reserve. This reserve would protect nearly 400,000 square miles of ocean around the Austral Islands. This idea is a part of the French Polynesia's plan to protect 20% of its waters by 2020. The French Polynesian Islands have two very powerful countries as its allies. New Zealand and France provide protection for Polynesian islands in regards to its military and economy. New Zealand, for example, is French Polynesia's #1 exporting country, with exports such as pearls, aluminum, and scrap metals. In return, Polynesia receives beef, ships, dairy, iron, and steel. A large portion of Polynesia's leisure time is spent playing sports. Canoeing is the most popular sport among all the people of the population. Water sports are very prevalent. Some water sports may include windsurfing, swimming, fishing, and diving. Surfing is the most common and most enjoyed sport of the youth. For leisure, others may attend dances which feature hip-hop, ballroom, or traditional styles. People may even travel to other islands to visit family. Education throughout French Polynesia has been established by the French government. The French government created primary, secondary, and vocational schools that are similar to French educational standards. Children are required to receive schooling from age 5 to 16 and free to age 18. After high school, students usually opt for vocational training in business or secretarial fields. French Polynesia is a great country to visit for those looking to experience and embrace a new culture, lifestyle, and atmosphere. It combines breathtaking scenery with diversity among the people and the wildlife. So travel down to the adventure-filled country of French Polynesia.